Alright, what's up guys? This is Fender. This is going to be the last week 3 video that I make for you guys. This is actually the second game type, however, Eden Stronghold, so we are definitely going to be playing this one. Plaza Slayer will be 50-50, depending on if it's a 2-0 either way. And this one I think we should definitely be working on, because this map is, excuse me, sorry about that, this map is tough. Strongholds is the toughest game type. Eden is probably the second toughest map after Rig, depending on who you are. You know, the spawns on this one are a little more complex than Rig, but the sight lines on Rig are a little more difficult and test your communication more. So overall, I think it's kind of a wash either way. They both have their technical difficulties, and one tests teamwork a little more, one tests individual, just ability to parse information more. So strongholds. Capture 1 stronghold, you get no points. Capture 2 strongholds, you get 1 point every 3 seconds. Capture 3 strongholds, and you will get 2 points every 3 seconds. Triple caps are great because they double your scoring. However, it can be difficult to set them up. I wouldn't say it's difficult to defend them because you can go and, I mean, like you're just playing Slayer either way. Once you've got all the strongholds up, you could ignore these things and just say, like, this is Eden Slayer right now without a sniper rifle. And you just have some free information when somebody happens to walk into one of these hills, and you get an easy kill on that person because you have information that they don't. So it's not that it's difficult to defend a 3 cap, it's actually easy to defend a 3 cap and to maintain map control during that time. The problem is just that it's difficult to set it up. If you go and, try and capture all of the strongholds at the same time, you're going to turn the spawns into chaos. And as you can see on this map, there are a shit ton of places that people can spawn. Like, I don't have anything for you for this map that's like the truth breakdown, where there are 4 places and, 2 of those 4 places can essentially be treated as one. It is not like that. This one is crazy. There are spawns all over the map. That said, I'm going to try and give you something a little bit simpler, but it's a lot more difficult to predict these ones. Just bear with me. Okay, we just jumped in at 236. It takes 10 seconds to capture a stronghold by yourself. 10 seconds is longer than a single spawn cycle. 10 seconds is, almost as long as a lot of our flag routes, even if you're running the flag perfectly. That's, I mean, when you think about the strongholds, it's like, oh yeah, it's way easier to capture a stronghold than a flag. But time-wise, it's not actually that different if you're solo capping. Solo caps are tough because, if it takes you 2 seconds to get in the stronghold after you kill somebody, that means that 6 seconds later they respawn. You're 60% of the way through. They've got 4 seconds to get up and to kill you. And you guys know all the movements on this map. You can run from all the way at Red Nest up to top cap in 6 or 7 seconds. So even if that's, the 4 seconds is all you have, they can easily get up to Nest and shoot you and start grenading you and start doing something about you if you're trying to solo cap. If you put 2 people in the stronghold, double hop it, that turns it into a 6-second cap, which is a pretty big difference. So capping with 2 people is very critical. Capping with 3 people turns it into a 4.5 second cap. So in my opinion, the diminishing return isn't really worth it. For one thing, you're not saving a lot of time. And the reason that I don't think that time is worth it is that once you add a 3rd person into this space, it's just much more difficult for everybody to stay out of each other's way. So like if I'm working with one other person here, I can be looking at blue if I need to. I can kind of be playing this side of things, and this person can be playing up here, playing this side of things. Obviously you don't want your attention split between blue and red at the same time if you can help it. You want to be focusing on the same enemy. But you can just see there's like a lot of space for the one guy to strafe, for one guy to jump up and take stabilized pot shots. And sorry, I'm not using my regular controller. This is a regular controller instead of my Elite controller, so my buttons are all messed up and I don't really know how to press the right things. Anyway, you can see how 2 people could work in this thing. once you add a third person in, everyone just kind of gets in each other's way. One of those people is basically doing nothing this entire time, where if he were to run out here and like go out to Blue Alley, Blue Plat, we'll get into the spawns later, but if I were to stand here, I can now help out on some nest angles, I can clear all of mid-cat, I can back down if I need to and stay alive, split attention, I can stop anybody coming through blue base, I can flank them if, you know, those guys are shooting at them from that angle, I can flank them from over here. From here I can do a lot to support them just in terms of slaying and contesting the dead space in the middle of the map, or, you know, what I like to think of as no man's land. I'm sure you guys all remember that from history class. World War I, no man's land was the space between the trenches. Halo 5 definitely has a no man's land, and that's, you know, this airspace between Catwalk and the inside of the map versus the outside of the map. As you guys know, you can traverse that very, very quickly using all the movement abilities that Brooks has been teaching you. But if they're contested, like if I'm standing up here, how the heck are you supposed to do your bum jump onto this spot? Or like if I'm shooting you down there, you're not going to be able to sprint into this and do your thrust jump onto the catwalk. Those are only valuable when the space is uncontested. So, you know, if I'm forced to back down and somebody makes a real fast play and manages to jump off it, alright, you know, fair enough, they've outplayed me. Those things are useful, for sure. But if I'm able to contest this dead space, it turns into no man's land. Because you can't sprint, you can't thrust, or you give up your entire strafe, and you're just a really predictable target while you're in the air. There's a lot that I can do to prevent you from getting through all of this space if I've got all you guys stuck on the back of the map and I've got all my guys arrayed up top. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. The key here is just utilizing dead space and utilizing no man's land and making sure that we're constantly contesting it to keep people contained and to, you know, get information, decide what we're going to do about them later. So again, I hate to kick the bucket down the road on you too many times, but we're going to table that for a minute. Spawns. I think about it as the four corners. You've got spawns over here and near the red alley and like this side of red base. You've got spawns in the blue alley for sure that can be very deadly. You've got spawns in Blue Bend, and you've got spawns on kind of the outside area of red, near the red bend. I would say Blue Bend is probably like the least likely spawn point. The game doesn't really like to put you there. The game does really like to put you in the blue alley, if it can. The game will definitely put you on red bend a lot, and it will put you inside red base a lot. Even if I'm looking at somebody kind of on the back side of red here, like that, I can kind of stand up here and use the angles so that his face can't see me, and I can shoot him in the toes right as he spawns up. It's pretty crazy, pretty cool. All of those spawns are kind of like soft spawns, for lack of a better word, where it won't necessarily pick... How should I say this? You can be like kind of blocking something, and if the other one is wide open, it'll put him in the wide open one. But if multiple things are kind of blocked, it will put someone in the most open spot, or like the least blocked. They all kind of have partial blocking states, if that makes sense. Like one is 3 out of 10 blocked, and another one is 6 out of 10 blocked. It'll put you in the 3 out of 10 blocked. So you've got those four corners, and you've got tower. So it's the star in the end. 5-pointed star. Or you call it a pentagram if you're into satanic stuff. These tower spawns, again, the game likes to drop people in tower, especially if people have pushed up on either of the two opposite strongholds, so like Blue Bend and Red Nest. If you vacate tower, people will definitely spawn in tower. What does that mean for the strongholds? Okay. So we've got a ton of no man's land in the middle of the map if you decide to contest it. We've got a spawn in tower, and we've got what basically amount to sided spawns in the bases. There's a little more concern from tower about blue base than red base because of the elevation change. Red base is lower, blue base is higher. So right off the bat, you can tell Top Cat is completely vulnerable to tower. If you have tower spawns, you have Top Cat. If you have Top Cat, you have the ability to contest the vast majority of the dead space on this map. From Top Cat, I can see it even in tower. Here, I can see a lot of the same stuff on red side. I can really do a lot to contest red and deal with red, even from inside tower. I can do a fair amount to deal with blue, because I can jump up here, I can walk along this wall, you can surprise people here, I can just keep people out of security, keep them from getting tower and infinitely stalemate them until they decide to push up and get played. I can walk right back into tower if I want to. If they do decide to push up, I can go down here, get some damage on them. I can get on the cage. I can jump up from this side. I can jump up on this thing from cage. I've got a lot of options to outplay people here, even in the worst case scenario where people are showing up in this blue alley. And from catwalk, I can see both bases and both strongholds. So from Top Cat, if you're holding down your tower spawns, you're able to get anywhere fast, you're able to contain the enemy, regardless of which base they spawn in, although preferably in red versus blue. And you're in the power positions. That's it. Oh god, why is someone watching me? I hope this is someone from Kitty Squad. Otherwise, please don't watch my terrible stream if you're a random person. Let's go. So completely lost my train of thought. Alright, so what do we want to set up on? Blue Cat is a really good spawn to block. Standing over here by blue window, especially with a battle rifle, is going to let you keep people off of red nest, deal with turbine, get information about it, keep anybody off of mid cat, and deal with anybody who tries to push blue bend. I've got a lot of options from here for rotating out towards this base, and I'm giving the people inside of tower certainty that no one will be spawning behind them, which allows them to, you know, put one person up here who's kind of dealing with this corner, and another person over in tower here who's dealing with this part of the corner. These people should be communicating and shifting back and forth efficiently, but you know, around each other, and not just like sitting down and, you know, being dogmatic and like, nope, I'm only watching this angle. You guys should respond to call-outs. Like, if nobody is pushing this side clearly, you can start rotating back and around and peek and nest. Just you know, keep account of how many people are coming outside. Mental inventory, if you will. So if you're able to block this blue spawn here, you can have another person who's, you know, moves along this side and gets up towards the blue bend stronghold. You can cap the blue bend stronghold, probably with some help from the guy alley, because he's going to be protected from anybody. He can then, you know, play over here by the sneaky as bait. People try and push out to him, he can just jump up here. He can go onto mid-cat, where anybody who wants to chase him is forced to expose themselves to a different angle. From here, I've got ground pounds. I've got tricks I can do for sure. So someone who's really good at staying alive should usually play this position. You don't have to get all the way up here if you don't want to. This one, like, you really have a lot of freedom to just fail, depending on how much pressure is out there. Your job is pretty much just to get information now. So if we're holding this blue bend catwalk setup, we've got our alley spawns blocked, we've got dead space completely locked down. Over here, you're just trying to keep them off. Back people down once they start coming after you. Get out, tell everyone else that they've rotated outside, and you know, we can decide what to do from there. Just keep staying alive, and you know, eventually they're gonna have to either try and get that stronghold or try and come through the base door and go through the overall what's basically no man's land near this blue bend. And if we lose those fights, fair enough, they've outplayed us by killing us from inferior positions. But we can make that last a really long time. We can really milk a lot of points out of that. If you're playing the alley blocks position, I think you're the best candidate to have the BR that spawns right down there. Definitely try and pick that up, because hitting this shot with a pistol, not super easy. Hitting this shot with a battle rifle, due to the magnification and the increase in red reticle range, you get a big difference in shooting at this with the battle rifle. You can walk along this as much as you want if you need to, and you're kind of playing center field. You're the first line of defense for this guy, so you should definitely be ready to help him and kind of deal with this catwalk side. But if, you know, I like to put 2 people in tower in case I didn't make that clear. If we get these 2 people in tower, they're doing their thing and they need help because 3 people are pushing outside here, or even 4 people are pushing outside. This guy has to know that, like, okay, everyone's up. I don't have to keep sitting here until we get a kill. Once we get a kill and, you know, sometime in the next 8 seconds, that's when you have to rotate back. So I can jump over here, I can come up and I can help these guys. Or I can, you know, if we're worried about them already being in tower, I can go over here, flank tower, and secure the spawns. What's nice about this, again, is that you're securing the spawns for the future. Excuse me. Which is definitely what you're going to want to do if one of your tower guys or your catwalk guy died. It's better in that situation to go and play sneaky into the back. Unless, you know, like the guy in catwalk calls out a... Excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups. If there's a one shot and, like, you know that you're going into a safe fight, go ahead and challenge it hard, but if not, you're going to want to try to play it sneaky, play it slow, and just keep the other team from, like, all spawning up in tower and getting a multiple person cap on catwalk. So hopefully that setup makes sense for you guys. Basically, you're just getting a nice little L shape around between catwalk and blue bend. If we want to set up on red side, that can be pretty similar. Basically, you're getting at least 2 people in tower again, in my opinion. You're going to want somebody to go over here and cap red nest, obviously. You're going to want to have control of it. I would not put someone on the catwalk as often because,
Stronghold controlled.
you know, once you're on this red side at all,
Capture specialist.
the game is going to be trying to put people inside of blue, as long as we just have no one blocking that blue area. So I can go up here, you know, I can get the battle rifle and take it wherever I want. And get over here and get the light rifle. The light rifle's really good. And again, the most important angle that you want to watch is this blue flat area. Because if they want to push outside towards red, fine. Like, they can send 3 people out here. What's going to happen? That's just going to give us blue and let us get the better spawns. What we're worried about when we're holding tower and red are people coming from blue cat and blue alley in order to kill our guys inside of tower. So if I'm here and people are spawning in alley, I'm gonna have a little harder time because these people are fighting on even ground. They do have to clamber up, but this is a relatively long hipfire pistol shot. It's not a super difficult one, but it's not exactly like the world's easiest one. It's definitely outside of red reticle range. If I've got a battle rifle, this is way easier for sure. And I've got some options. I can walk along this thing, shoot some people. I can just keep people off of security and out of tower. Watch for that little, you know, that little flank that I was talking about, where if you're playing that blue plat position and you need to get into tower, you can go there, play sneaky, and secure the spawns. You definitely want to watch that if you're playing tower against people who are spawning in blue. You can play down here, but overall, if people like break containment, is all they have to do is weaken you and drop your shields, or, you know, melt you with a little bit of help from there, or 2 people who just climb on cat and kill you in 2 shots or whatever. All that stuff can be very dangerous. So what you want is the light rifle guy out here towards nest, doing his best to help out with that plat. And you can still be aware of your own threats, but you definitely want to, you know, use that light rifle, scope that in, get the 2-shot back down, which will make it infinitely easier for the people inside of tower to deal with people who are trapped in bottom alley, and people who are pushing them actively across the top of the plat. They also, you know, they're able to back down into tower for as long as they want to get their shields, rather than feeling like they're going to be giving up all of catwalk and the high ground for free by backing down and getting their shields. And in that situation, I think what we should do is just wait until we get kills. Once we start getting kills, we can start pushing up. So the people in, you know, if someone goes down on alley, we can push up into the alley, kind of force them out towards the blue bend. You can cheat this way with the light rifle now through mid-cat, or, you know, you can have one person just anchor and lay down shots on anyone outside near blue bend. Kind of be the lightning rod, distraction, get some people weak, force them to think about you, and then have someone else flank, either by getting along that part of catwalk. Once they get to there, they'll be able to look over blue bend pretty efficiently and clean up any kills down there. That would definitely be an acceptable way to regain control of the blue base and get into the setup that we're more confident with, which is probably going to be this blue setup, kind of the classical one that most teams have generally done. So yeah, that's like the super simplified version of it. There are a lot of situations where you want to rotate. There are a lot of situations where you want to set up. But overall, if we're confident with that blue setup and how to rotate back to the blue setup from nest, and from nest and red, we should be fine. As long as these people in tower know that they're supposed to periodically check that they've got cover from the blue alley, they should be fine. And the person who's going to play the blue alley spot, which could be anyone on our team, job, like if blue alley is open and no one is blocking it, any one of the four of you should be able to do it at any time. But this person should just know that it's his job to call out that, you know, multiple people pushing outside, someone help, I've got your help, you know, blue bend guy, I can help you out. You can flank here. If you're going to do this though, just call out that like alley and the people in tower will know that they have to work back towards it eventually 8 seconds after they see somebody pop up in the kill feed. We can, you know, as coaches, Brooks and I can help with that as long as the information is getting out in case we're on a different perspective or we're talking about something else at the time and, you know, we missed that play. Just let us know where you're going and that the alley spawn is open. So those setups should be good. If we don't have control at all, what I think we should generally do is what we do on every map, what I advocate for on every map. We want to get people ready to move on the most important spawn as quickly as possible. So if someone can, you know, sneak into tower through the bottom of this area when no one's looking, that's really the only place where they can see you as you round that corner. So if you stop and say like someone back down top cat, I can say like top cat's down. Once, you know, like let's say Fender's hiding here and Ace is over there, I can say Ace back top cat down. He shoots him. I go whoop whoop whoop, and now I'm here behind them. And I say, okay, stay alive. Wait for me to get a back smack. I go. I punch. Someone is dead. I'm fighting 1v1. Ace is gonna fly out here with his sick jumping skills. We've just got a double kill. We've got cat. We're gonna kill everyone on blue base now, and we can call out to everybody that it's time to collapse. We're looking for that kind of thing, where somebody's like taking. I think of it like a lead in baseball. You know, you don't extend yourself so far that you can't get back and you're like unsafe, but you want to get as far as you can so that you're ready to capitalize when the opportunity presents itself. That opportunity could be a lot of things. Again, with the light rifle over here, you can do a ton. Just, I mean, you don't even have to go very high up these stairs. You can just poke people with the light rifle from over here to back them down. You can poke people with blue bend to back them down. You can do a lot to just get people weak, and then somebody else should eventually be able to make a play, or someone on the other team is just going to make a mistake. Like they're going to walk too far out on the tower, we're going to melt them, we're going to have numbers, and then we're going to be able to push. And as long as everybody has gotten their lead and is ready for that, like we've got a pick push call, we should be good. For the most part, guys, we're going to win this map. If we're going to win this map, we're going to win it with teamwork. by challenging together, by being fast, and by being smart. I realize that's a lot of things to take on, but this one, because it's so complex, it also makes it a little bit more forgiving in a way. Obviously, like if we play Team Optic does these rotations perfectly, they will shut us the hell down. But generally speaking, because there isn't like a super right perfect play most of the time that people are realistically going to make, that means there also isn't really a super wrong imperfect play that will totally screw us, as long as we are walking together, if we're challenging well, and if we're keeping the spawns in front of us. So like complete chaos spawns are bad because we don't have information. We can't really outplay people because we don't know enough about where they are and what they're doing. But if we do keep everyone in front of us, I trust you guys to use your moves and go and make somebody look stupid and break some ankles. The last thing I should talk about are just the power equipment, the power-ups, and the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is great for getting picks, especially if you can get it inside of blue or red. It's really good for defending things. It's not so good for long range. So like if we are all out here and we all work to get our rocket launcher, we've got it, hooray. We've got red nest and nothing else. What am I going to do? Like come all the way over here? It takes forever for that rocket to land. You can walk out of the way of that rocket. So I'm going to need people to, use their light rifles to back people down. I'm going to get over here towards Sneaky. Again, like, I'm going to check somebody on Cat, push them back, and eventually we're just going to leapfrog our way up so that now people in your base, bam, that's, can't dodge that. And now we're starting to get our kills. Even if I don't kill that guy, I've backed him down. Now I'm going to be able to go out here, look at the security to make sure I don't get killed, then jump up on this side, lock it in. You're leapfrogging, you're making sure that your teammates are covering you while you walk through the shitty spaces, you're taking your pistol out at the right time, and you're making your way up to what's important with the rocket launcher. You're also going to want to get overshield whenever possible. The overshield is easier to get from the red side, especially off of spawn, because it's just that little bit closer of a route, because blue team has to walk around a little corner in the alley, while from red you get to spawn on the platform and just beeline at it. Most of the time the rockets will spawn 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds before the overshield. So people are grabbing these rockets, they're taking their time and waiting until they can get the overshield. Because now that I've got the overshield, I can force something, right? Maybe getting melted right now, but I've still got a little bit of overshield ready for this fight. I can come up, I can blow up anybody that I see. There's a lot I can do with my overshield if I've got the rocket launcher to defend it. If you're on the other side, if you don't want to get killed by the rocket, by a rocket OS guy, with the combo, what you're going to want to do is have somebody fly at it, make them burn it with the rocket launcher. That's something you'll see a lot at the professional level, is that someone will just haul ass at it, beeline, get support from the top so that they can get down there and take the death and burn it just to keep the overshield out of the hands of the rocket launcher player. For the record, getting rockets in OS, despite the fact that it's kind of on the outside of the map, is easiest to do while you have control of the tower here. If I look down from the tower here, I can control all of Midcat and Blue Sneaky and Blue Ben. That means that if someone on my side is on the blue side, excuse me, is trying to get to the rockets, he's got 3 ways to get into Turbine. 3 ways that are all completely supported. It's easy to just back people off of Nest and then make your way across the Midcat here. That leaves only 1 way for these red-based people to do it, depending on whether or not your team is doing a good job of backing people down, because if I'm able to catch somebody with a light rifle, now all of a sudden that advantage is gone, and my team can be the ones who are, somebody's flying through here, making a play and trying to get the rocket launcher. Similarly, if you own Midcat, if you can, just keep people off of this area, from up top, it makes it much harder to pull the overshield. So you can always just get somebody who flies down and pulls it. And you can always get the camouflage if you have control of tower. I mean, the camouflage just spawns right there in the back of tower. It's trivial. You will always get camouflage. And the camouflage does pretty well on this map because it allows you to show up unexpected places, make sneaky moves, combine it with some of your clammers, and you will definitely be able to get something done. Because people tend to be so far away from each other, you can usually melt out and, you know, just disappear and find a new place to hide with your camouflage. So guys, hopefully that is helpful for you. This has been a bit of a struggle for me because there are some really complex things that I tried to get into that didn't work, and I tried to do like a way oversimplified version that didn't work. And now I'm exhausted, so hopefully this made sense. We've got the model for a decent blue setup, the model for a decent red setup that will allow us to get back to blue if we need to. And we've got a plan for when we're down and we don't have control, where we're just going to get that light rifle, we're going to look for a mistake, and we're going to take advantage of it, capitalize on it, you know, real quick with one person playing sneaky while the other three just keep testing the defenses, keep, you know, doing something and trying to get attention, milking your life if they decide to challenge you. So like if I'm out here, I'm getting somebody from Blue Bend and all of a sudden 3 people are pushing me from Blue Bend and we've got someone dead. Now I just want to stay alive as long as possible, right? I can go up here, jump on this side, show up here. You know, I can't jump because I'm using the regular controller, not my elite controller, so I'm doing everything wrong. Ground pounding I have to do by pressing the thumbstick, which is obnoxious. Anyway, the longer I'm able to stay alive over here, the more likely it is that my teammates are going to spawn in the blue alley, somewhere where I want them to be. And I'm just going to be giving, you know, that much more opportunity for our next round. Eventually, it just relies on them making a mistake and screwing up their setup. Especially after what I saw you guys do on the Rig Slayer. You need to just do the same thing that we did there, where you keep peeking out, keep getting information, play, you know, you disappear at one angle, you appear at the new one, constantly getting information, dealing damage, and eventually they fuck up and you immediately capitalize on it. You guys are probably going to fuck up a couple times on your setup too. It's okay. All we need to do is communicate well and, you know, hope that our buddy system and our teamwork will compensate for that as much as possible. So that when one person gets weak, somebody else has his back, and we, you know, make only 1 out of 4 of those mistakes are something that the other team can capitalize on. So that's 33 minutes. I've tried to take on all of Strongholds, Eden Strongholds, one of the hardest game types in the game. Oh boy, that was some work. If you have questions about this, let's just deal with them in practice. I think this is one that we're going to have to practice together a lot. But this will also be really good for just those, you know, doubles teamwork stuff. If we can play 4-on-3 on this map, or, you know, it's just as long as you guys are playing around this space and working together and predicting the spawns, I think you guys will be fine. Because if the spawns are in front of you, you all know how to outplay people. You will all figure out a way to make this work. The only thing that's going to screw us is if we get on opposite wavelengths, we open up Blue Alley without telling anybody, or, you know, we all vacate tower at the same time to respond to the same call out. Those are the only things that are like really, really likely to screw us over. So thanks for checking this out, guys. I apologize for the length. I know this is not like the digestible thing that I was hoping it to be. If you don't want to watch the entire thing, that's fine. But if you did stick with it, thank you. I appreciate that you value my input so much. Thanks. Good night.